Welcome to Inner Peace with Dr. Reese, a program that can help you become liberated in the modern world. Now, here's your host, Dr. Kevin W. Reese.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode. With me today, I have Karen Raymond, who I just met you, a few weeks ago at a health fair here at the bridge.
Yeah.
And we got into a conversation because you saw Sunlight Sunny and you were talking about, educating the kids. And that must have evoked some emotion in you, and you went on like this little rant on how we got to educate the kids.
Yeah.
And I heard you mention that, you got to keep the vessel clean so that we can receive messages.
Absolutely.
In your medium, right? Is that the term that you would use, or?
I guess that's what you would call me, psychic medium, but I like to be called a lightworker.
A lightworker,
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, yeah, that's a great topic for this podcast in regards to inner peace. How important is keeping this vessel that we call a body clean, would you say?
Wow. Okay, so that is a very passionate subject for me.
Mm-hmm.
I go back in the day. I have 3 kids of my own, and I taught preschool for many years. And it was really important to get to them young, to build those healthy eating habits, healthy mental habits at a very young age. So I was very blessed to be in that space where I could teach preschool and bring my children with me, so I knew where they were. Mm-hmm. And I noticed that a lot of the children coming in the morning were eating like chocolate donuts and just loaded with sugar. And those were the kids that were acting out. Those are the kids that couldn't sit still. Those are the kids that couldn't listen. And I just kept seeing this over and over, and I get it. It's the parents feeling guilty. They have to leave their children, giving them something special before they go, but doing them more damage in the long run.
Or they're addicted and they're just passing the habits down.
Possibly, yeah, or a little bit of both. You know,
Yeah.
just the guilt trip and getting the kid the chocolate donut. But we're talking like chocolate frosted, like the worst
Right.
donut. You could the most sugar.
Right.
And so I said, all right, well, how do I educate the parents in a nice way, in a
Yeah.
gentle way? And so that's where the whole journey started for me, is how can I change the behaviors? And is it really true?
Right.
So I started incorporating a nutritional program into their curriculum that went home to the parents. And slowly but surely we added more vegetables, more fruits. We did yogurt in the morning.
Oh my gosh. So when you saw the Sunlight Sunny thing and you kind of got a glimpse of, I don't know if I told you the whole deal, but you got an introduction, we'll say.
Yeah.
That must have really like, whoa, like,
Heck
because
yeah.
you almost, did it out of necessity, right?
Yeah, so a little bit about that story. So it happened to myself as well. I basically ate a pretty good diet pretty much my whole life and grew up eating, we had fruits, vegetables, all that. We didn't really have junk food in the house. But still, I was having an effect on my body. And it went on for a few years, just compiling up symptom after symptom. And I said, something's just not right. Finally went to see a rheumatologist and was diagnosed with Sjogren's syndrome, which is an autoimmune disorder or disease that affects your exocrine glands, starts to dry you out.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, we have an answer for you. You could start taking this big, long drug. And what it is an anti-malaria drug. And you have to get your eyes checked every 6 months. You could go colorblind, all these things. I was like, okay, well, thank you very much. No, thank you. Because I'm also a holistic healing practitioner, and I believe the body has everything it needs to heal itself.
Of course, yeah.
And I was like, all right, so let me listen intuitively. Let me meditate over this. Let me listen and see what I need to do. And over, diet kept popping up.
Yeah.
And my daughter and I started listening to podcasts and Broken Brain and Your Gut is Your Second Brain. I'm like, what is up with this? So I did my research, and I cut, about 2 years ago, I cut gluten out of my diet, no gluten, no dairy, no soy, and I also cut out meat.
Right.
Slowly brought meat back in only on an organic grass-fed level.
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks, Kevin, within 2 weeks,
Yeah.
all the inflammation in my body was gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Mm-hmm.
And all these people that had what I had, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, couldn't get out of bed, couldn't move.
Yeah.
I was like, da-da-da, had the energy of like 10 men and lost 16 pounds.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a heavy person, but I was feeling like I was 46 at the time. I'm 48 now, and I felt like a 21-year-old.
Yeah.
In my mind, the brain fog was gone because I also had thyroid issues. It was amazing. And I just got up on my soapbox and I just needed to tell the world, like, do you understand how important food is? It's your second brain.
Yeah.
You have over 100 million neurons or transmitters in our stomach that affect our mood. You know, just changing these kids' diets, going back to that.
Yeah.
This one girl used to get, you know, the noodles in the cup, the styrofoam, you fold it back, you pour the water
Ramen
in.
noodles or whatever they're called.
They're like ramen, but they're in a cup.
Right.
And it takes like 8 hours for them to cool off.
Yeah.
That was her diet every single day before she got on the bus for school.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, we're going to do something different. We're going to serve peanut butter on bagels and apples. Within 1 week, this child who didn't talk, had behavioral issues, within 1 week, she started having these beautiful conversations with me.
Yeah.
1 week. It's big.
It is big.
Big.
It is big. And I know it's big because I have a fundraising grant writer on retainer, and they're like, you got something big, and we this and we that, and they're talking like millions of dollars, and I'm like, whoa.
It's so exciting.
And it's needed, and I don't know if it would have worked 10 years ago or 20, definitely not 20 years ago.
Right.
But now I think America is starting to wake up a little bit. Like today I'm doing a speaking engagement downstairs to a group of business people on mindfulness.
I know.
Mindfulness is an Eastern thing. This is new for America. Just like kind of how yoga came in. It was brand new 50 years ago.
Right.
And now everyone's got a yoga mat. So things are coming into America and things are changing. And the diet aspect is starting to change now. People are waking up. People are starting to deny their doctors.
Right.
They're starting to say, just like you did, no thanks. Because they have the internet and they can do their research.
And do you know why this is happening? I'm so passionate because you said
Tell
they're
me.
waking up. That's
Waking
the
up.
key word.
Yeah, the consciousness. Yeah.
Waking up. They are finally starting to be present
Yeah.
where we never were before. We're always concentrating on the past or the future. You know, we're not right here.
Right.
And that's where the magic is,
Yeah.
in the moment.
Yeah.
Here and now. There only is here and now.
That's right.
Always. And be here. And when you're here, you can listen to your intuition. We're all intuitive. We just are not listening. We're blocked. And so starting to practice meditation and not just going, but going for a walk, connecting with nature, grounding yourself, self-care, self-love, those things. That's why they're able to say, no, thank you. They're finally listening to their bodies. They're finally waking up.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, people are starting to realize we're being poisoned. Like, there are foods in other countries. They've banned these foods.
Sure.
They're so bad.
Sure.
And so now people are starting to think, okay, they're
Especially
able to
France.
think.
France has a lot of food laws.
Oh, yeah.
Like no corn. I don't know if this is a fact, but I'm pretty sure there's no high fructose corn syrup in anything. They ban that.
Yeah.
You can't boil lobsters. It's against the law.
Yeah. They're being more conscious.
Yeah.
They're waking up. They're being present. They're starting to understand that, the cliche, you are what you eat. You really are what you eat. What you put in is what you're going to get out.
Right. You don't just pee and poop it out.
No. And you need nutrient. You need, the stuff that you don't need, your body expels right away. So
Right.
what's left?
Right.
And the sad part is, we're this society where we need more and more and more and more instant gratification. We've done this with the farmland as well. Refusing to turn over the soil like we should. We're getting to a point, we've been so greedy that now even the soil is depleted.
Yeah.
And so even if you choose to eat organically, we're having a problem.
Yeah.
Because those same minerals are not in our food and we got to get it in other ways.
That's a big issue, yeah.
Raining microplastic.
Yeah.
Hello, we eat a credit card's worth of plastic a week.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Now it's in our food.
Not only that, but this is something I've talked about in my health career for 10 years is the advertising of protein is out of control. I mean, they're putting it on everything now, right? There's cereals, 12 grams of protein, that Gatorade is in on it, just the powders and the drinks and the cereals and everything. Protein is a major seller. And And so people are sort of being tricked into these high protein diets, and they're forgetting about the fruits and the vegetables. And
high protein diets are dangerous.
Very
How
dangerous.
dangerous they are for all these diseases.
yes.
And you got to ask questions. And I think that's the key. I'm just so passionate about this. I think number one, first and foremost, is education.
Yep.
We have to have better education in our school systems, at the workplace, and at the home. And if you don't know what you don't know. And so parents don't even know how to feed their children properly if they're not being properly educated.
Right.
We can break that cycle if we start it in school at a young age. Then those children are our future. They can go ahead and raise healthy eaters and be more conscious of the universe and their planet. So somewhere we got to break the cycle.
Yeah, we got to put
What's
you.
done is done.
We got to put you on staff. Yeah, we gotta get you out here with this stuff. So what we're doing is we're doing the same thing with our nonprofit, but we're doing it with a character.
Yes. I love it.
So it's like, what if Mickey Mouse spoke about fruits and vegetables, or what if Mr. Rogers talked about fruits and vegetables? You know, I've run into people of my age who grew up with Mr. Rogers, and they'd be like, "Oh, I love that guy. He taught me how to tie my shoes."
Yeah.
You know, or something like that. And so I think it would be really cool for a 30 or 35-year-old of the future to be like, "Oh yeah, I eat fruits and vegetables because of, Sunlight Sunny."
Yes.
I did this program in my school or whatever. One of the things that, and you can attest to this, that we did at first was try to get into the schools, and there was so much red tape.
Yeah.
And then we discovered, no. You be in an enrichment program that gets hired by a school or a daycare center. They would rather hire someone to come in versus you putting a curriculum into the system, because it's like government, it's strict. So in your experience when you were teaching, you said it was nursery school?
It was actually preschool and school age.
Okay.
So I was a head preschool teacher preparing the children for kindergarten.
Got you.
And also school age, taking them, putting them on and off the bus. And
pre-K.
Pre-K,
That's exactly the demographic we're going after. And so how much red tape did you discover when you started changing their nutrition?
Yeah, so there was a lot. And thank goodness I had a really good director. Our school was accredited, which is, really important as well, by NIAC. And so they were already looking into what are the best ways that we can provide for our children in our school that makes us a little bit higher, top notch. Yeah. So they were a little bit more open to listen to bringing in more healthy choices. They already thought they were doing that, which they were using yogurt and like carrots and applesauce, stuff like that. But some of the crackers, some of the, like Teddy Grahams are probably the worst things you can ever give your children. I think there's like brake fluid cleaner in there if you really break it down, like crazy things in our food.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of red tape. There's a lot of protocol. There's a lot of things that you need to follow in guidelines. But like you said, if you bring it in as an enrichment program,
right.
We were able to bring in music. We were able to bring in gymnastics, and then a nutritional program. And so I think you're right. I think that's the key right now, is to offer it as enrichment. And whatever way we can get it in there, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever way we can do it.
Yeah. And we have the books and we have the music. And so our objective is to get them in love with the character.
Yes.
And so we've tested it. And, I've had parents contact me and say, my 2-year-old and my 4-year-old are fighting over who's going to read the book.
Aww.
And stuff like that. So once they buy into the character, it's kind of like Santa Claus.
Right.
Right? This wool has been pulled over all the kids' eyes for decades.
Right.
So it obviously works. You get them attached to a character, and then the character becomes reinforcement for the parents. Because kids don't want to listen to their parents all the time.
Right.
Right? I don't care what mom says. Mom says I got to eat this, but
right.
Well, Sunlight Sunny
says. Sunny says, yeah.
Right. So I'm so happy that this is a big cause for you. What was it like when your children were younger? When your kids were pre-K, what was the situation like at schools with food? Do you recall?
Yes, I do. I recall even back to when I was in school and the choices that they gave us to eat. horrendous. I mean, they've changed a lot of that. Like the vending machines, I heard, no more. They were serving soda.
Right.
I don't think my kids know what that is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just lucky that I was already aware and, did my education before my kids and knew that these things weren't going to be good for them and rot their teeth and just all these things. And so for my kids, like they would serve all these different kinds of juices. And I would say, no, my child's not going to have that. I have to write on a piece of paper what my child was allowed and what they weren't allowed. Otherwise, they would just get what everyone else got, which was high. We're not talking juicy juice or anything that's even maybe a little bit better. Just straight up sugar juice.
Right.
The cheapest they could find. I get it, but these kids are bouncing off the walls, all these juice boxes. And so my kids didn't have these healthy choices for snack time. Even though I was in control of what was in their lunch,
right,
they would provide snacks.
Right.
And these snacks were not, something that I wanted to serve my children. These fruit snacks that were loaded with
So how do you
junk.
how do you go in and talk to the teachers? Or the school? How does this work?
It is difficult because, number one, you don't want to make your child feel like an outsider, right? They
Right.
feel if they're doing something different,
Right.
hey, how come this one is getting, these fruit snacks and mom says I have to eat carrots?
Right.
So it's really hard. And I had to slowly start educating why this maybe was not a good choice. And of course, they don't want to hear it. Everything is about price and what could we get for the cheapest amount of money. And unfortunately, sugar's cheap.
Yeah.
Corn's cheap. That's
Yep.
why we have it.
Yep.
And it's
And soy.
in soy. It's really, really sad, all this genetically modified stuff.
Yep.
So they don't want to hear you
Yeah.
because they're thinking of budget. And sometimes their hands are tied. They can't do anything
Right.
because of their budget and how much money they get. Oh, well, how do you expect us to buy carrots and yogurt
Yeah. This is
on this budget?
right.
And so then you got to go a step higher and you're talking to the superintendents and you got to keep going because it's so
This is
important.
exactly why we need to raise money and get grants so that we can, for those people, we can supply the food as well. Give them the education and the product, if you will, the food.
Farmers markets. I mean, we need more of these kind of community type things.
Another thing that what we're thinking about doing is creating a letter, like a standard letter, looked over by a lawyer, that a parent takes that standard letter, signs their name, and brings it into the teacher or the school and says, "Oh, this is," because you do it now with allergies anyway.
Right.
If your kid has
Medications,
your
allergies,
kid has a nut allergy, you have to tell the school, my kid, don't let any peanuts or
Right.
near my kid. So why can't we do that with their overall diet?
Right.
So if they bring a letter in,
Love it.
they bring a letter in, all they have to do is hand it over and say, "Oh, my kid is, Sunlight Sunny certified here, and this is the way we do it," right?
Right.
And we're getting away from the word vegan. We're getting, like, you've noticed the word vegan slipping away because people are identifying it with activists.
Right.
Now the term is plant-based.
Plant-based.
Everything.
Paleo, plant-based.
Plant-based.
Keto. I mean, we have so many.
Yeah. And so, we just want to, we're just, we're a plant-based organization. So bring this letter in and say, my kid is plant-based, Simple as that.
Yeah, I love it. The more we keep doing it, it'll be a trend. Then people will be like, "Oh, my kid's the only one that's not plant-based."
Give them a Sunlight Sunny lunchbox. Give them
Yes.
T-shirts. Let them feel like they're part of something.
Yes.
And other kids will ask, "Well, what's that? What's the deal?" And if the kid is educated, which they will be from the program, then they can look at the other kid who's eating Twinkies and say, "I don't want to be sick.
Right.
This is why I eat apples, oranges, and broccoli and carrots, because I don't want to be sick." And so I know and you know, but not everyone else knows,
Correct.
that the food is a preventative measure of not getting sick, right?
Correct. Physical and mental.
Yeah.
It's the whole mind, body, soul connection.
Yeah.
And I think, people just think of the body as just the physical body, but you have a soul and you have a spirit and you have a mind, you have all these things. And I mean, that's another topic I'm going to bring up. Look at mental health care in our country and all of these children that are, have these diets and they can't sit still. They can't think. We have ADHD. We have all these. I think every kid has ADHD now. every kid has a nut allergy just about, or they're allergic to something. Why is this? Let's go deeper. We never had this growing up as kids. What's happening? What's creating these allergies?
Pediatric cancer is up too, if I'm not mistaken.
It's I mean,
so what is it? Is it the food? Is it the vaccinations? What is it? Is it a combination? Is it the air?
Right.
Is it
But we can't look over oxidation. I mean, as soon as the time you're born, your body starts dying.
Right.
Due to oxidation. That's why we eat antioxidants.
Right.
And so the one thing we can't factor out is our environment. We can make our environment better, most definitely.
Yeah.
But the way it is right now, we have to breathe.
Yeah.
We have no choice. So the other things, what can we do?
Could tap water be an issue?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Everything that including topical things you put on your skin, people don't think about that.
Right.
Sunscreens, lotions. Your skin is your biggest organ.
Yeah.
What are you putting on it? It's going straight into your bloodstream.
And it was just announced a few months ago that sunscreen, they said it could be cancerous. Like the government came out and said it, or one of the organizations said it. They haven't banned it yet, but they banned the vaping stuff.
Yep.
Fast.
Yeah, not good.
And that's been around for a good 10 years now, 15 maybe. So, I just, the more people that are on it, the more the powers that be are going to have to change things.
Exactly.
Because we're supposedly in a democracy. Supposedly.
Right.
And we're supposed to be able to say, no, this is not how it should be. And then if enough people say that, then it changes.
And that's what needs to happen. You're absolutely correct.
Right.
That's the other thing I'm really passionate about.
And it takes years.
It does. But the one thing that we fail to understand, you talk about inner peace. And I love the podcast. I love the name Inner Peace with Dr. Reese. I love that.
Well, it rhymes. What are you going to do?
But it's perfect.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that's the key right there, is peace.
Yeah.
And honestly, our only goal is peace. And where do you get that? And how do you get that? It starts with you.
Yeah.
You're the only one that can bring about peace.
And
nobody else can do it for you. It is hard.
It's hard to have inner peace when your body isn't functioning correctly.
Correct.
When you're ill, when you're sick, when you're injured. I'm injured right now. I'm nursing an injury.
Yeah.
Pain in the butt. And no, the injury isn't a pain in the butt. I'm just using the term. But, when you have an injury or you have an illness, it's an exhausting thing. It's a chronic thing. Just imagine somebody with asthma that has to deal with that, or I've had so many clients over my career just sick, and the mental wear and tear is unreal, and they don't have inner peace, not even close. And so if we can get to a point where we can get our diet in order, that's going to increase our peace.
Exactly.
And
bringing in that other piece of, once you're able to start that clean eating process, you eliminate some of that brain fog, and you're able to quiet and silence your mind.
No more ADHD.
No more, right. And once you're in here, I tell people, you're too much in your head almost. We have 60,000 subconscious thoughts that hit our brain a day. Think about that. 60,000 telling us what a piece of junk we are, or you're not good enough, or you don't look good enough. So our diet, if we don't have that clarity, if we have that brain fog, and we can't fight off those 60,000 subconscious thoughts because we're not healthy enough, and we give in to them, we get even sicker. Because it's been proven more and more that stress causes disease.
Right.
And so the second part of that is the mind-body-soul connection is what I'm about, is once you get the mind healthy, the body healthy, then you can get to the soul. And that's where all the beauty is you just know that you are good enough, you're perfect just the way you are. All this positive thinking, no more negative self-talk.
Yeah.
And when you are sick, you're right, you are feeling defeated. You are feeling like you just can't get out of wherever you are. You're stuck, you're depressed, you're anxious, all these things.
Yeah.
And it's a rat race, because then some people eat to just comfort themselves, and they eat junk food, and not only that, the salt, the sugar, it's all addicting. They do it on purpose to make it so addicting that you can't stop. You talk about addictions, drugs, never mind. Food is a drug.
And pretty much any white powder.
My daughter is now 20.
Yeah.
But 5 years back, nobody in my family eats fast food, but back in the day she did. And she's like, Mom, I can't stop. Like, what's going on?
Right.
I'm trying to not eat McDonald's anymore. And they made it even more popular with the value menu. People who, due to social economic reasons, I could just go through the drive-through and get my kid 99-cent nuggets.
Yeah.
They're trying to feed their kids this way. And so that's why I say education is so key, because yes, you're getting your kid a cheap meal, but they're not holding anything in their body. Your body expels what it doesn't need.
Right.
And so if you're eating chicken nuggets and French fries, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
All the chicken nuggets and French fries are all coming out.
Yeah.
What are you holding on to?
Yeah.
Nothing for your child
Yeah.
to nourish their bodies and their minds.
One of the big revelations I had in my health career was people with chronic illnesses coming to me for help that were under the age of 30. And I was just like, and this is kind of what inspired me to do the kid stuff. And it's just like, wow, you know, here's a 27-year-old with lupus.
I know.
Life flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Here's, a 32-year-old with rheumatoid arthritis.
Ugh.
It's like, this stuff isn't supposed to be happening until you're in your 60s or whatever. Maybe not even at all. And I used to do some speaking gigs at colleges, and, I remember like this girl, 18, 19 years old, coming up to me and crying. And I have acne. I can't get rid of it. I have chronic migraines. And it's just, so I've seen a lot amongst the younger people. And it's like, we figured out how to live longer than, say, 200 years ago. We have.
Right.
But that's because of the technology. And, but there's more chronic illnesses. There's more of those nagging illnesses versus the malaria and the plague that's just going to kill you in 10 days. Like now we have the nagging ones. We're living
longer, but the illnesses are stretching out further.
Right. That's right.
We're dying slower.
A
slow death, a slow agonizing death. I mean, if anything's going to kill me, I'd rather it be like malaria than, honestly, a cancer that's going to just go on and on for years with excruciating pain. So we're living longer. Yeah. And that's not a good thing when it's with illness, because now you're prolonging your pain. It's sad. It really is.
If you live to 85, that sounds good. It's not, oh, wow, that's a good run,
Right.
But that person may have been suffering from 55 to 85.
Right. A slow, agonizing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not for me. If I'm going to be able to be here an extra 20 years, I want it to be mind, body, and soul healthy and being able to have an active lifestyle. So to me, that's kind of, I'm being dramatic, but a death sentence.
Right.
Living to 85 with chronic illness.
Right.
Who wants to do that?
Right.
You know?
Yep.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah. So let's take a small left turn. You said you're a light worker. And so you have some, let's call them abilities. And you say keeping your vessel clean helps you filter those abilities.
Exactly.
So can you touch on that a little more? Because you were at the festival 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people were coming up to you, and you were doing your thing. Were you at a table?
I actually organized the event. It was called the First Annual Day of Healing and Recovery in honor of one of my friends that passed away. And he opened up a nonprofit years ago so that people can come and start that healing journey and not have it be cost prohibitive. Because that's another thing. I mean, healthcare, we got to get better with that too. There's just, everything is too expensive. People should be able to afford health care, and in a good way. So that's what that event was. It was for people to come, and it was in celebration of National Recovery Month, which is also very important. I'm not even going to get into the whole opioid addictions, and these kids are young, 16, 17, 18, maybe after an injury, breaking their leg or whatever. Now the doctor puts them on pain meds, only 10 days, and now the kid's addicted. Yeah. Perfectly good, kid, never tried a drug in their life, academically sound, all this, and now all of a sudden they're a drug addict.
And a lot of times that leads them to heroin.
It's awful. And this is, that's slowly changing, and I didn't mean to get off topic there, but
it's fine.
So that's why I did this event, is to start that healing journey, to bring people in and start educating them. And so people did come up and had a lot of questions. What do you do? Well, since I was young, I had this special gift where I was able to connect to source, I call it. In my case, the angelic realm. So I do talk with angels. They talk with me.
Okay.
But I've always asked to be a clean vessel to receive those messages from my clients for spiritual guidance. And we can clog all that. People talk about your chakras. Not everyone knows what that is, but they're just energy centers. We don't need to get all crazy. Our bodies are energy.
Yep.
Look at science. You don't even have to believe in God.
Right.
We are energetic beings.
Sure.
Everything in the universe.
The cells become molecules. Molecules become atoms. Atoms
Right.
atoms become protons, electrons. We're electricity. We're energy.
We are electricity.
That's right.
And so if you want to just look at it from that standpoint, I say like energy attracts like energy. So whatever you're sending out into the universe, you're going to get it back. And if it's a bunch of negativity, guess what? Your car breaks down and you're screaming and yelling and swearing and cussing, you're going to get a lot more of that. If you can, again, exercise the mind and be in a good place and say, well, this probably happened for a reason. Maybe it avoided something else. You always get to choose your reality every single day. You can be happy or you can be miserable.
Right.
Once you go through this healing process. And so it's about, to me, education and being a clean vessel so that I can hear the messages and give them to other people.
Right.
And so that's really important. If you're all clogged up with all of this junk food and all this stuff going on, you get brain fog, your body hurts. You can't be in that peaceful, mindful state to receive all your gifts.
Right.
Again, it goes back to blocking that beautiful energy that should just flow. Chi, life force energy should flow.
The Tao.
And we're clogging it all up.
Yeah.
You can't get to a better place or a higher vibration, so to speak, because that stuff is all clogged up. Once you start to eat healthy and you clean out your body, the brain fog goes away, the pain goes away, and now it's just you and your authentic self.
So
Now you can listen.
So you've been having this mediumship with the angels for a long time.
Yes, since 6 years old.
And so, how have things changed since you cleaned your health up?
Wow. That's all I can say is wow. So I asked for this. By the way, we're always getting what we ask for. We're just not paying attention. Our prayers are always answered. We're just not paying attention. So I asked for this years ago. How can I receive my messages clearer, deeper, stronger to help more people? And so I asked for it, and on my merry way I went. And I started getting sick and sicker and sicker and sicker. I'm like, what's happening to my body? Going to all these doctors. Finally, 5 years later, they figure out it's not MS, it's not this, it's not that. It's Sjogren's, right? By doing tests. And I was like, okay, what do I do next? I'm not going to take the drugs. And that's when I went on my journey into healing with food.
Right.
And I knew this was part of my journey to share with other people because I wanted to be a cleaner vessel to receive my messages to share, and also so that I didn't have pain any longer because I was concentrating on the pain and not my work anymore.
Right.
Or I was sleeping. I couldn't help people if I was sleeping
Right.
due to chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia. I'm like, this is not my journey. You got to be out there educating. They were educating me the whole time. I just wasn't listening to the cues. So I had to kick me in the gut pretty hard to say, hello, you asked for this. That was my wake-up call to say, no more. I have a big purpose here. I got to get going. And I healed my body by food. I healed my body, mind, and soul. And now I'm on a mission to help other people do the same. And I'd love to start with children because that's where we break this cycle so that they can go forward and raise healthy eaters and so on and so forth and put all that karmic crap behind us.
Well said. Something interesting you said is wandering in my presence right now, and that's, you said 6 years old.
Yeah.
6 years old. That's quite young. So how do you deal with this gift at 6 years old? It's first grade.
Yeah, I don't think I really understood what was happening.
Did you tell anyone?
I did share with my mom, or she questioned me because I was at 6 years old, you're such a free spirit. You don't have all that, I say, stuff on top of stuff, all the layers, right? So the interesting thing is prior to age 7, you don't have critical thinking skills yet. And whatever someone tells you, you are, you are. And we're healing all the time from past trauma as well. So at 6 years old, my experience was of pure joy and love. And I remember I was on my knees praying at the time for hours. And my mom's like, what are you doing? You know, we're not overly religious or nothing. I said, well, I'm communicating with my angels. And she's like, oh boy. And I'm like, they're telling me that there's people in different dimensions. Like I saw energy dimensions that are stuck and they need to move. People call it, I guess, purgatory maybe. I don't believe in any particular religion, by the way. I'm non-denominational. But these people were kind of stuck in these places energetically and needed help to get out. And so that's what I was doing. And we're very close to spirit at a very young age because we're still clean. We don't have all that crap in our heads yet.
That's right.
You know? And so you're in a place
Your
where
pineal gland isn't calcified
it's
yet.
not calcified. Your body's still clean. You're still close to source. And you're so much clearer when you're young. That's why kids, they just have no inhibitions.
That's one of Jesus' best teachings, is to be childlike.
Right. Be childlike. You ever see a kid play a video game?
Yeah.
They could kick your butt in any video game because they don't have inhibitions. They don't have any fears or doubts, or they're not clogged up. They just play to have fun.
Right. They're in the present moment.
We stopped playing.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yep.
More and more of that stuff comes on, the eating, the negative thoughts, all this stuff, society telling you what you need to be.
And once you get in high school, it's
that's the danger zone though for kids.
drama.
It's so bullying, drama, peer pressure,
Prom.
self-medication.
Who am I going to ask to the prom?
Yeah.
Stuff like that's big for a teenager.
Big. And like you were talking about their appearance, acne, you know, everything matters.
A zit could ruin you.
Yeah, seriously, like you don't even want to go to school.
You don't want to go to school.
Or do you have the right clothes? Or do you?
Right.
We need to start getting out of that mindset too as well, is that everybody is perfect. Everyone's beautiful just the way they are having their experience. We're all different. Think about it. There is nobody on this earth that is you.
All right.
Not one single soul, not even an identical twin. We are all masters. We are all perfection. We're all little masterpieces. There's no one like you.
Right.
Ever. And so we need to start focusing on
And we're all
that.
from the same source.
We're all one. No one or nothing is separate.
Same consciousness.
We just forget.
Yeah.
It's okay, because I don't want to sound like a woo-woo, but I am. But if you stop and think about, like when you get really aggravated with someone or a situation, if you just stop and think, source is there. Mm-hmm. God is there.
Yeah.
I'm God, you're God. We're all connected. No one or nothing is separate. We get it wrong. We are here as physical beings, yes, but we are spiritual.
Yeah.
Having a physical experience, we confuse that and think that we are physical, trying to have a spiritual experience.
Right.
No, you are spiritual. We're just in a physical place having an experience, and you get to choose what that physical experience is. It's powerful. When your mind is clean and you're eating well, you can choose every single day to be in gratitude. And that is where the magic is. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Practicing gratitude when your brain is clear enough to wake up every day and say, thank you for my health. Thank you for being on this planet one more day. Thank you for all my friends and family and a reliable vehicle and food, and just thanking and being in a place of gratitude shifts your entire life.
Absolutely.
But people can't get there yet.
No.
Because they're
or it comes and goes.
Or they're clogged and they're thinking about trauma and their past experiences, or the past is done. Let's not dwell on it, and the future's not here yet.
Nope.
Be right here, and that's where all the magic is.
I'm one of the big changes for me was studying all the masters. I studied all the masters.
Yeah,
all
I
of
love
them.
it.
And I didn't want to just do a religion and follow it. My interest was in the teachers themselves.
Yes.
Across the board.
All the ascended masters.
All of them. Across the board, it's present moment. That's the foundation of everything, is staying in the present moment.
It is.
That's why someone like Eckhart Tolle comes out with a book called The Power of Now.
Yes.
And Ram Dass, Be Here Now. So there's all these books. You see keywords like now or here, present. Like I said earlier in this podcast, I'm about to go talk to this group downstairs. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is just a fancy word for present moment.
Exactly.
That's all it is. And in fact, mindfulness doesn't even make sense, really. Mindfulness. It really should probably be mind emptiness.
Yeah, I was going to say it should actually be the opposite
Yeah.
and just making it really simple is best.
Yeah.
Simple is best. And all we're doing is being here now. That's it. Just be here now.
You said you're married, right?
I am.
How does your husband deal with your abilities when you met him?
He's the interesting thing is I ended up with a science guy.
Ah.
He's 100% science, but very open-minded. And his whole theory is, I don't know, and I'm okay with I don't know.
I don't know is a powerful term.
He's like, I don't know, and I'm okay with I don't know. And he is, there's agnostic and atheist.
Yes.
He's agnostic. He's not an atheist.
Right.
He just doesn't know. And so for him, he's a science guy. He needs proof. We can't provide that proof. I haven't died and come back to tell you the story. I mean, there is a lot of that out there, but he is science-based, but he is very open to my experiences. And I've read his mind, like when I were in bed and he's rubbing my shoulder and my eyes are closed and he has this vision in his head. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I'm half asleep. And I go, oh, cartoons. He goes, what did you just say? I go, I said cartoons. He goes, why'd you say that? I go, because I just saw cartoons in my head. I go, they were old-fashioned cartoons, flat, not three-dimensional, Mickey Mouse, black and white. He goes, like he's freaking out. His whole face is dropping. I go, what? He goes, I was just thinking about that. They were in my head, those cartoons. And you just said everything that was going on in my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I'm connecting to you. Because we can do that.
Yeah.
You don't realize we can. The
Wow.
brain is powerful.
Well, my favorite tradition to study is Buddhism.
Oh, I love Buddhism.
And I think Gautama the Buddha is the most fascinating man to ever walk Earth. When you really study what he taught, on the surface, people just think, bald Indian guy, meditating under a tree. There's so much more.
Oh, yeah.
There's psychic abilities that he speaks of, and the deeper you go into emptiness, the deeper you go into meditation, the deeper you go into the present moment, the more your soul wakes up, if you will.
Yes.
It becomes a powerful force, a force of source,
You're right.
And
You tap into the oneness.
it's unbelievable what this guy taught. And for 42 years.
Yeah.
And nobody's ever done that. I like to use a sports analogy. He's the Tom Brady of spirituality.
Yeah.
He did it the longest, and he won the most championships.
Yeah, right.
Like Jesus was here for 3 years. Or his ministry was 3 years.
Right.
He came in, made an impact. Big entrance.
Big entrance, big exit.
Big exit.
Yeah, exactly.
Big exit.
But these are powerful,
Yes.
you know,
What about alchemy?
ascended masters.
Okay, I get chills thinking about it, but I just saw on video, old video I want to add too, like 80s. You can tell by it's grainy. I just saw a Taoist master light paper on fire with just his hand.
That's energy.
Yeah, he's just putting his hand next to the newspaper. He's focusing on it, and next thing you know, it's a ball of fire.
Yeah.
And why isn't that on the news?
You know, because it's probably just smoke and mirrors, because this is our culture.
Right.
In denial.
Right.
Because we cannot believe, this is the sad part, we cannot believe in our heads that we are unconditional love.
Right.
Or we deserve unconditional love. And so going back to every culture, every religion, that's where our block is. That's why we have the food problems. That's why we have the climate problems. This goes, we cannot believe, we had to make so many myths up around religion.
Yep.
It's crazy. I love the book Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh. The best thing I've ever read, hands down, in my entire life. That 4-book series resonated with me so deeply. We are perfect. There is no right. There is no wrong. There is no indifference. It just is.
It just is.
We are having an experience. And we come back. I happen to believe in reincarnation, but we come back and we choose, I'm going to do this time. I'm going to have this experience.
Right.
And this time I want to be the hero. And so someone in your soul group says, great, I love you so much. I'm going to come back and be the villain. So you can be the hero this time.
Just playing in the sand.
It's just an illusion.
Yeah.
Everything here is just an illusion.
Right.
Really, no one or nothing is separate. We're just here having an experience, going through the motions. So really nothing's bad, nothing's good, nothing's whatever. It's just we slipped out of consciousness, and we're starting to get it all wrong. We're starting to get it bogged down, not being present, not hearing. We're all intuitive. We're just missing the boat. I just chose in this lifetime to be awake. And if you notice, people are waking up. It's a 50-50 split now. People are everywhere you read, whether it's social media, here, there. Come heal, come do a drum circle, come do Reiki, 10, 15 years ago, did you hear about Reiki?
Right. Well, the internet.
Energy healing?
Yeah, social media, it's the gift and the curse. And,
right.
It's the gift in the sense of spreading this type of stuff. And it's the curse in the sense of people comparing and, their egos getting attached. We live in the diary era now.
Yep.
Like I should be taking a picture of us right now and be like, oh, I just did a podcast with Karen. I went to the store today and the clerk said this. Like everything, people are documenting their lives.
Yeah.
It's sick. There's something wrong with that. They're
trying to heal, actually. They just don't realize. They're trying to heal.
They're looking for attention.
And what is that? Tony Robbins is another really beautiful holistic icon. He talks about we have 6 human needs, and we are going to meet every one of those 6 human needs in a positive or a negative way. So we're just going to use those words lightly because really nothing's good or bad or indifferent. But we see things as good or bad. That's how we perceive them, just like we have to put time on everything because we need perception. So he says you're going to fill these needs in a positive way or a negative way. Let's look at these 6 human needs. One of them is the need for significance. And how are you filling that need? In a positive way or a negative way? A negative way could be, kids reaching out in a negative, in a way that is more detrimental to their health. And, getting that negative attention, they say in school, kicking, screaming, causing all kinds of chaos. Adults are like this too.
Yep.
The ones that wow, he's so negative. He's always so negative. You are going to fulfill those needs in a positive or negative way. And they stem from your childhood.
Yep.
So it's always from your past.
Yep.
So the best thing that we can do is educate, rip off the Band-Aids, take off the layers of crap on top of crap, because it's all labels and it's all baloney. Start peeling them off. You are good enough. You are deserving. You are the perfect human being you need to be right now. Shed all the crap, because that's not you. You are perfect. Unveil. Take those layers off of all the previous damage that someone told you were.
Do you think if somebody took up meditation and took it really serious and they went inside themselves, that they would find these realizations? And
most definitely, that's how you get there.
Yeah.
Is taking the moment to silence the mind and hearing the clarity there and saying, oh, that's what that was. Oh, my mom was a guilt tripper. Maybe someone that like it starts to come.
And deep meditation is how someone would get to the abilities that you have.
Exactly.
Right? Whereas, it was sort of gifted to you, if you will, but anyone can do that.
Anyone can do that. And we all have it.
My spiritual mentor used to refer to it as, he would always refer to it as whispers of the heart. He used to call it.
I love that.
And so he would allude to that, like, well, I didn't make this decision. I was, I just listened to the whispers of the heart. And what he meant was, going into a deep meditation and seeing what's there.
And what is there? When you go into deep meditation, it is your authentic self.
Right.
Your higher self.
In,
your consciousness.
In Zen, it's
spirit.
called the original face in Zen.
The original face. And so that's what you tap into is, Neil Donald Walsh.
But it takes that nothingness, that emptiness to get there. It's like a bridge almost, like...
You're right. You have to strip off all of the baloney.
You're right.
Get to that space of emptiness so you can get to your higher self.
Right.
Your chi, your life force energy. no blinders, no blocks, no mask, just silence. And when you get there, something really magical happens. You get in touch with your authentic self,
Yep.
your higher self, your spirit, your soul, so to speak. And once you're in that space, it's all unconditional love.
Right.
Everything strips away.
Because it's kind of like an illusion, like you're living in a dream almost.
Right.
And they tried to display this in the movie The Matrix.
I know. You're right.
One big analogy, right? He
Yeah.
unplugged, right? Sort of an analogy of enlightenment or whatever.
Exactly.
And then he has the master, and they teach him this, and they teach him that, and then he comes back into the Matrix, and he's able to dodge bullets, and right, the girl in the red dress isn't real. It's like, we're living in this Maya, as they call it in the East, this sort of illusion. It's not, because we're in material, like we talked about earlier, right?
Yeah.
We go from skin and cells all the way down to just electricity. Right? Just an energetic force, so.
We're made of the same thing the stars are. We are the stars. We
Yes,
are the universe. We are all of it. Break it all down.
I've heard one master make the analogy of when a star or a planet dies, it becomes a black hole because it collapses into itself, and you can't see it, but it's a ball of energy. And he said that's exactly like the death of a human.
Yeah.
It's just this ball of energy that just
and it cannot, the cool thing is energy cannot be created or destroyed.
Right.
And so our consciousness lives on.
Yeah.
And on and on and on, whatever happens. And everything is energy.
Right.
Everything has an energy signature, and everything vibrates at a certain level.
I vibrate all the time.
Yeah. And it's not good or bad, or pardon me, it's not good, bad, or anything, but we're starting to see that the things that vibrate lower are things like chronic illness,
right,
and disease,
right,
and cancer. And the higher you vibrate, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Omega scale.
Yeah.
And so one of the, at the very top is enlightenment. And I'm not saying we're all meant to be in that space. We're probably not all here to have that experience, because it would be game over.
Right.
But then the interesting part is above love, which I see the acronym, a good friend of mine has starting a book channel piece with me, converts everything to acronyms. Love is just letting one or others vibrate and express. Love is just freedom. But one step above love is joy.
Yeah.
And joy is just opening you.
Right.
Being your authentic self. And so we have to go through all these, and we go back and forth. Anger, apathy, the lowest on the vibrational scale, I think is shame. Why do we feel shame when we're perfect?
Right.
What is shaming us?
Right.
Why do you feel that? Who told you
Right.
were not good enough?
Right.
You're talking about whispers of the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Our feelings are always our truth.
Right.
And instead, we choose to self-medicate and push those feelings down. That's what
Right.
society teaches us.
That's right.
Hide them, squish them down. They're not allowed. Push them as far down as you can.
Hurt people.
Yeah. And then they come up, because guess what? You can only take so much of that, and then what happens? You throw up. I mean, it comes up.
Yeah.
It's going to surface, and it's going to explode. And so your feelings are what we should be listening to. Our feelings, the whispers of the heart.
Yeah.
It's always our truth, not the mind, all the stuff that goes on in there. When you clear the mind, you get into your heart space.
Yeah.
It's not even about the mind. When the mind goes empty, then you go into your heart chakra.
That's right.
And that is all love. 100% unconditional love. How
And
do we get there?
And so I got to wrap this up, but
Yes.
you said something that I identify with. You said at the top is the enlightenment, but if everyone became enlightened, then it'd be game over.
Right.
So that's interesting, because in Eastern cultures, especially Buddhism, when you supposedly become enlightened or you transcend, you don't come back in rebirth. You're gone.
Yeah.
You're gone.
Right.
You've made it home,
Exactly.
so to speak. And if everybody did that, then there'd be no more humans.
Right. It would be game over. That's what they, intuitively, that's the sign I get from, or what I hear from Archangel Michael.
Yeah.
Because that's who comes in for me really strong. And he's like, you do realize this is all like a game. I'm like, a play, so to speak. You put the players on, take the players off. This is your playground for you to experience whatever you want. And we're not all here to be enlightened. We're not all here for enlightenment.
Yeah.
We're all in different stages of the journey.
Well, you might be setting up your next life.
You might be setting up your next life. Exactly. And most of the time we choose to vibrate higher. People go, oh, do you come back as a dog? No, you might have started out as a dog.
Right.
But we choose to evolve higher and higher most of the time. Or we repeat the process that we didn't learn this time.
Right.
Over and over.
Some people are very asleep and they have no idea.
Exactly. But maybe that's what they're trying to experience.
Right.
And maybe them being very asleep is to show someone else something else. So you have the yin and the yang, and I know you need to wrap it up, but there is no good without bad.
Right.
And that's not even
light and dark.
They're light and dark, up and down.
Male and female.
Yes, you have to have them both, because if you didn't, love would just be a concept. If everything was love, 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 you wouldn't know what love was.
Right.
It would just be a concept.
We need darkness for the light.
And then when you have that experience, then you could go, oh my God, I know what love is now. Or you have a really bad migraine, say, for 3 days. I know me. I wake up, fourth day, migraine's gone. I'm like, da-da-da. I want to do everything.
Right.
You appreciate your health so much more. We have to have the good and the bad.
Right.
The turmoil and the joy, because that's what makes you appreciate it. That's what allows you to have the experience. Without it, it would only be a concept.
My health mentor, Dr. Robert Morse, has this thing he says all the time that goes with this. He says, we're just playing in creation.
I love it.
It's just playing in creation.
Exactly.
That's it. This is creation. This is your playground, and you just go play. And I guess you got to earn some money, unless you go to a monastery or something.
Right.
But you got to earn some money, and you might have kids, you have responsibilities, but for the most part, you're just
playing. Play and be present.
Yeah.
And diet helps that. Going back to that, start eating. You start fueling your body so that your body could take care of you, because we definitely are what we eat. And if you want to start this journey of enlightenment, if that's where you want to go, or just feeling happier, I tell everyone, just bring your best self every day.
Yeah.
Try to bring your best self every day, whatever that looks like. And you can definitely get there without anxiety and fear and depression and pills and self-medication. If you just listen to your body, give it what it needs, it'll give you back what you need.
Sure.
And it's that simple. So I tell people, you want to be enlightened, you want to feel joy in your life every day, one of the ways is start eating right, clear the mind, so that you can start the meditation process. So you can live your best happiness every single day.
When you put the two together, the right diet with the right meditation and spiritual practice, that's where the magic happens right there.
It's all together, mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely. Man, it's really been a pleasure. We can go another hour. Easy.
I know. Thank you so much for having me and allowing me to help share and educate what I'm so passionate about.
Where can people come say hi to you?
I am located at the Bridge Healing Arts Center in Farmington, Connecticut.
Yeah.
And the name of my holistic practice is called Voice of Angels.
Okay.
So I do intuitive readings, mediumship readings, spiritual guidance, counseling, and also energy healing. I'm also a Reiki master.
Okay. And how about social media? What's the main place for them to come say hi?
Actually, on social media, same thing. It's Voice of Angels.
Okay.
They call me the Angel Lady. So
Angel Lady.
Voice of Angels is where you can. It's Voice of Angels.
Instagram.
Okay. Voice of Angels on Facebook, and voiceofangels.net if you're looking for my website.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we'll have to continue this on another episode. And if you're looking for more episodes, or you're looking to learn more about me, go to drreese.com, doctor spelled out, and I'll talk to you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Inner Peace with Dr. Reese. If this episode opened your heart, feel free to share on social media and tell your loved ones. Also, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time. May peace be with you.